Hello everyone, my name is Miss Scada, and today we are going to be reading a book titled Amazing Grace by Mary Hoffman and illustrated by Caroline Binge. So, based on the cover of this book, can you tell me in 3 words, what would you describe the girl in the picture? I would describe her as happy, vibrant, and young. So what are 3 ways that you would describe her? Think about that on your own. All right, let's get into the book. Grace was a girl who loved stories. She didn't mind if they were read to her or told to her or made up in her own head. She didn't care if they were in books or movies or out of Nana's long memory. Grace just loved stories. After she heard them, and sometimes while they were still going on, Grace would act them out, and she always gave herself the most exciting part. See her listening to her Nana, and she's playing over here. Grace went into battle as Joan of Arc, and wove a wicked web as Anansi the spider. She hid inside the wooden horse at the gates of Troy. She went exploring for lost kingdoms. She sailed the 7 seas with a peg leg and a parrot. What is it that Grace is doing while playing these characters? Is she using her knowledge from various texts or stories as she plays along? Are these great pieces of history that she's using in order to play with her friends or even by herself? I think so. She was Huetha, sitting by the shining big seawater, and Mowgli in the backyard jungle. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, Grace played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat and found a city with streets paved in gold. Or she was Aladdin, rubbing his magic lamp to make the genie appear. What is it that we call these adventure stories and fairy tales? Genres. These are described as genres of a story. There's other kinds of genres too, like fiction, nonfiction, and myths, for example. See her going away to find the lost city. Sometimes she could get Ma and Nana to come join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was Dr. Grace, and their lives were in her hands. One day, Grace's teacher said they would do the play Peter Pan. Grace knew who she wanted to be. When she raised her hand, Raj said, "You can't be Peter, that's a boy's name." But Grace kept her hand up. "You can't be Peter Pan," whispered Natalie. "He isn't black." But Grace kept her hand up. "All right," said the teacher. "Lots of you want to be Peter Pan, so we'll have auditions next week to choose parts." She gave them words to learn. Now, Raj and Nicole are being very judgmental of Grace in this story. So judgmental means having or displaying an excessively critical point of view. So they are showing her a very critical point of view by telling her that she can't be Peter Pan because he's a boy or he isn't black. So they're not allowing her to be Peter Pan because she is not what they see as Peter Pan. That is called judgment. When Grace got home, she seemed sad. "What's the matter?" asked Ma. "Raj says I can't be Peter Pan because I'm a girl." "That just shows what Raj knows," said Ma. "A girl can be Peter Pan if she wants to." Grace cheered up. Then later she remembered something else. "Natalie said I can't be Peter Pan because I'm black," she said. Ma looked angry, but before she could speak, Nana said, It seems that Natalie is another one who don't know nothing. You can be anything you want, Grace, if you put your mind to it. On Saturday, Nana told Grace they were going out. In the afternoon, they caught a bus and train into town. Nana took Grace to a grand theater. The sign outside read Rosalie Wilkins in Romeo and Juliet in sparkling lights. "Are we going to the ballet, Nana?" asked Grace. "We are, honey. But first, I want you to look at this picture." She looked up and saw a beautiful young ballerina in a tutu. Above the dancer, it said, "Stunning New Juliet." What is the lesson that Nana is trying to teach Grace? Do you think that she's trying to teach her that she can be anything she puts her mind to be? Just like the ballerina did in this New Juliet ballet? "That one is little Rosalie from back home in Trinidad," said Nana. "Her granny and me, we grew up together on the island. She's always asking me, do I want tickets to see her Rosalie dance? So this time I said yes." After the ballet, Grace played the part of Juliet, dancing around her room in her imaginary tutu. "I can be anything I want," she thought. On Monday, the class met for auditions to choose who was best for each part. When it was Grace's turn to be Peter, she knew exactly what to do and all the words to say. She had been Peter Pan all weekend. She took a deep breath and imagined herself flying. When it's time to vote, the class chose Raj to be Captain Hook and Natalie to be Wendy. There was no doubt who would be Peter Pan. Everyone voted for Grace. "You are fantastic," whispered Natalie. See her dance and everyone smiling. That is Raj and Natalie in the back looking at her. Then here she is as Peter Pan. The play was a big success, and Grace was an amazing Peter Pan. After it was all over, she said, "I feel as if I could fly all the way home." "You probably could," said Ma. "Yes," said Nana. "If Grace put her mind to it, she can do anything she wants." What is considered as this sentence at the end? If Grace put her mind to it, she can do anything she wants. I would consider this the theme of the book. Her Nana and her Ma were both teaching her throughout the story that she can be anything she wanted to be if she put her mind to it. And they really expressed that by taking her to the ballet. The end. Based on the story, think to yourself of ways that you are like Grace. Has anyone ever been judgmental towards you? In what ways did Grace change throughout the story? In my opinion, I see that she was very expressive of herself and believed she could do anything at the beginning of the story. But then once her classmates started saying those unkind things to her, she started to doubt herself. But her Ma and Nana made her see that she could be anything she wanted to be. Thank you for listening. Can't wait to read the next book with you all.